All right, I'm having to add narration because the volume on the previous camera or the camera was not very good. At this point, I'm trying to figure out exactly where I need to place the grommet prior to installing it through the firewall. I've already fed some of the wires through. As you can see, I'm now trying to feed the rest of the wires through. Believe me, this is not really a fun thing to do, but it's better than leaving the old wiring harness in and having the car burst into flames. Not something I want to do with all the thousands and thousands of dollars and pounds I've spent on this baby. As you can see there, wiggledy jiggledy piggledy, and I do succeed in getting it through. It took me some time to figure out how far down the wiring harness I had to get this grommet. And that was because I found it difficult to find, a picture that showed me something that was really puzzling me. And that was the wiper motor wiring harness. I thought the wiring harness ran through the engine compartment and just ran around and connected up to the wiper motor. It appears that is not the case. The harness comes in through the firewall into the interior of the vehicle and then comes back out around where the where the bonnet release cable is, and then to the wiper motor. And there are a few extra wires. I haven't figured out what they're for yet. Some big purple ones. I'm sure I will figure it out, but right at the moment, that's not the case. So that's something we do need to pay attention to. All right, I'm just going to let this roll now for a while and keep quiet. Sorry, that was my dog sneezing. What you doing? No, nothing for you. Sorry about that. Right, let us see where we are up to at the moment. Still struggling to get those wires through. Gonna take a little bit of time, but shouldn't be much longer, and then we will be under the bonnet. We all like to get under the bonnet, under the hood, under various things, which we won't go into now, will we? Sorry about the noise in the background. I've got a fan going in my garage and it's kind of noisy. Believe me, this was fun trying to get these bloody things through here. Feed this through, feed that through, wiggle this, jiggle that. What is your problem? I'm sorry, my dog is giving me grief. Give me 1 second. Okay, not car related. I have the blanket you see, the sheet. That's his bone blanket. Whenever he has a bone, it goes on that blanket. Well, at least that's where we start. But he can smell it, even though it's washed. He can still smell it and won't leave me alone. Sorry, a little bit of family shit there. Come on, Gary, keep working at it. You'll get it through. Obviously, guys, you don't have to listen to my drivel here. You can just fast forward. Not that I would know anyway. And I tell you, that was tight getting it through the hole. Lots of wires, lots of wiggling, and then I tried rolling the grommet, as you see, and that seemed to work quite well. And initially I thought I got it in the right place, and that was it, didn't have to do any more. And that was then when I discovered about the wiper motor wiring, and I guess the right-hand body side wiring too, because there's all sorts of wires. God, if this works at the end of the day, I'm going to pat myself on the back and buy myself a bottle of Southern Comfort. And feel free, by the way, if you wish to send me a bottle of Southern Comfort, I'll be more than happy to drink it. Or gin. But don't buy me cheap gin. I only like Tanqueray or Sapphire. Oh, and Boodles. Who is it, Jimmy Carr says? I'm kidding. I really didn't realise I struggled for so long. But, hey, not really a surprise. Trying desperately not to break any connections. And I must admit, I'm not impressed with the bullet connections. Some of them keep coming out, so I'm going to have to make sure I tighten them up. And this harness was not made by Lucas. Just kind of tells you that bullet connections are not really the best way to go. But it seemed to be popular. Yeah, look at that. I think I've finally got it in the right place. There goes my bloody phone again. Holy shit. Sorry, guys. Okay. The harness is now ready. Now, the labels that I'm showing now, they were just as a guide for me, because I'm looking at it going, okay, where does this go? Where does that go? Which side of the firewall does it go? So, that one I just held up was the starter. That one's the rev counter. Can't remember what that one was, but it doesn't really matter. It's just the wiring harness is huge, and you're going to have fun doing it. I don't consider this fun. Many people have said, yes, it's great fun. You'll enjoy this, Gary. No, I got other things I do for fun, and this wiring harness was not one of them. I mean, I do enjoy working on my car. I thoroughly enjoy that. But who's that fat guy? Gosh. So now it is time, the war has said, to shove it in. So let's go to it and see how it goes. I've got to get the camera set up, got to go outside, got to push the car outside because I need to open the driver's door. And at the moment it's kind of toasty here in Arizona. I think we're about 103 degrees or something like that. So don't worry about what I'm saying. It's all drivel. I mean, what that guy in the video is saying, what I'm saying is absolutely important. So now we go and take it outside and start sticking it in. Hopefully you'll join me for this little bit of fun. Yes, and this is where I'm looking at it saying, oh bugger, I do have to put that through because this is for the wiper motor and I'm not sure what the other piece is for, but I'm sure I'll find out. Dials, gauges, interior lights, rear lights, you name it. All right, I'm just going to shut up now and let this roll before we go outside. I'm awfully sorry about the colour. I've given everything a yellow tinge. Looks like I've got jaundice. I assure you my skin is not that colour. And the flickering, I think, is because I'm working with the LED lights. And they do tend to have an effect on cameras. And I keep trying to change the setting, but it doesn't seem to work. Okay, so now it wasn't too difficult to get these last two pieces through, fortunately. The biggest problem is that huge knot to the left of the screen there, roughly where that brown wire is. That is a real pain. It's so big and bulky. I really do wish they'd staggered that a little so that it was easier to get the rubber grommet there, and also easier to get it through the firewall, as you will see in a little while. Oh, and I do thank a couple of my subscribers, sorry, can't remember your names, made comments about trying to give me helpful advice on how best to do this, and don't forget this and don't forget that, which is appreciated. You know, sometimes I'll go hammering away and I go, yeah, I know what I'm doing, and then I fuck it up. And if someone's made a comment, even if I'm aware of what they're saying, quite often it just reminds you, oh shit, yeah, I must remember to do that. I had thought of that, but I forgot. So I do appreciate all your comments, except for the stupid ones, of course, and the insulting ones. Those I just can't be bothered with anymore. They're just not worth the air. But most of my comments that I get are valid and reasonable. Sorry about this. I really didn't realise I took so long to get to putting it in the vehicle. This guy doesn't half go on, doesn't he? Put your belly away, asshole, and get outside and put that harness in. You're procrastinating, aren't you? Because you don't want to do it. And yes, I discovered that diagram really wasn't very good. And also a multicolored diagram I had was pretty pathetic. I ended up using the workshop manual to find out what wires went where and how. And obviously that will come into play a lot more when I start connecting everything. Finally, I think he's shutting up. Yes, here we go. We are outside. I've had to push the car out into the sun because I needed the door open. And as I said, it's about 102 degrees at the moment, something like that. So I didn't want to be out here long. And obviously, as you can see, I'm protecting my paintwork and the engine. Not that that really matters, but I've got to lay the harness down now and feed it through. And I don't want to be dragging it over the paintwork with those lovely bullet connectors scratching the paintwork to hell. So here we go, boys, girls. Let's start putting it in. And I will now shut up and just let you watch me get it in. Well, the bitch is in. Nothing connected, of course. I've just got it shoved in there at the moment, and I believe this one here comes around here somewhere. That is the connections there for the rev counter or tachometer, whatever you want to call it. There's the connections up there for the starter solenoid. The rest of the cable wiring harness has to go fed all the way around, and it comes across here. As for those of you that said this is enjoyable, this bit is the enjoyable bit because I've got it in. The rest of it wasn't particularly enjoyable. Now the fun begins, because I've got to start fixing it to the firewall, etc. This originally had little pieces of metal that were welded to the underside of the body here, the engine bay, with little pieces of plastic on them. I didn't like that, so I'm replacing it with much better clamps, P-clamps, whatever you want to call them, using riv nuts. So that's my challenge next, and that's going to be fun, because now that I have the engine in, which was not the plan originally, but shit happens. It's kind of in the way for certain things, so I'm going to have to go and get myself a right-angled drill, and I'm sure I can find one that's low profile, at least for enough for what I'm going to be doing. The worst part will be behind the engine there, and we'll just figure something out there. I'm not quite sure yet what. I may drill downwards into this to hold the wire rather than there, because obviously with the engine in the way, but with a right angle drill I should be able to get in that way. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this. I didn't. Here we go, lots of wiring, lots more fun to do. Get it all in position now before I start putting any more shit in. Okay, again, as always, guys, girls, thank you very much for watching. Now get out in that garage and do some shit.